Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. This morning, I just got done watching Big B's video, and he's looking at propeller shafts and modifying them. And one of his options was to shorten a shaft and cut new threads for a prop nut. And that's what I'm here to talk about. Jay Turner, many years ago, wrote the book on fast electric boats. And in his book, he mentioned, and in fact, I think he even had a photograph of one of the tricks that he uses. He says, makes propeller changes easy and quick as well. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this is the propeller shaft, and right here is the propeller, and this is the shaft sticking out through the propeller, and normally this would be threaded. Here's what Jay does, and at first I looked at it and said, "You're nuts." And then I thought about it and tried it and had 100% success with it. No failures whatsoever. Here's what he does. Your propeller and shaft, and he takes a piece of snug fitting, not loose like this. It can't be loose like this. It has to be snug fitting fuel line, and he just slides that over and pushes it up against the propeller. Interestingly enough, there really aren't much in the way of forces in this direction on the propeller, and the only real situation I could see is where rotation stops at a high speed, and now you have a stationary prop with water loads on it. But that's not enough to slide one of these things off. These things, you all know, once you get them on a shaft, especially if it's a good snug fit, it takes a bit to get them off. Yeah, you can get them off, but you got to work at it. It's not just easy, and you have to work at it the entire distance. If this were threaded, and the thread, whatever threaded item, the nut, whatever, came loose, the load to unscrew it is nothing. Once you've loosened your primary connection here, it just floats off. This is still sticking everywhere along the shaft. So, if you're experimenting with shortening shafts and the like, and you don't want to go to all that trouble of threading the shaft and figuring out how much to thread, oh my God, I threaded too much, cut the shaft a little long. Use a piece of fuel tubing to hold the prop on. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, would I recommend this as a permanent installation? In most cases, no. You can get away with it, but in most cases, I wouldn't recommend it. But for testing purposes, slip it on, go for it. If you like it, then thread it. What I've also used when, sometimes you'll set up a shaft for a long nut or a long hub, and then you wind up using a short hub. I use a little piece of fuel tubing as a spacer. That way the fuel tubing holds the nut or holds the prop and everything in place, and then you can run your nylock or Zubehor nut up against this and compress it a little bit. So just some thoughts to make your life easy there. Now, in the old days of auto racing, especially in Europe, all the countries adopted their own colors. All the British cars were BRG, British Racing Green, that dark winter green. All the French cars were powder blue. All the German cars were silver. Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, all of them, they were all always silver. Italian cars were always red. Why did they do this? National pride, and just to show, whose car's out in front. You could spot it from in the upper bleachers. Oh, look, the Italians are winning. Well, I've been thinking about that idea. Now, I was planning to paint that H&M Hydro in Ferrari colors. And that made me think, I have that little H&M Mozilla 400, and it's just a naked yellow thing. It doesn't have any character. What if I gave it some character? What if I painted it silver and put, you're going to like this. In the early 1960s, there was a guy running a Porsche RSK at Riverside International Speedway, and he was number 88. Now, if you follow certain, highly opinionated groups, 88, the number 88 has a significance. And they say it refers to the 8th letter of the alphabet, which is H. And then the 8th letter of the alphabet, which is H. And that was their salute to their former leader of a country. And since this is YouTube, that's as far as I'm going to take that story. But you know the significance of that. So I'm half tempted to do the Mozilla 400 up in silver. Now, silver spray paint, for whatever reason, always goes on perfect. Colored paints, you don't get a smooth surface, or you get orange peel, or you get fish eyes, or you get drips, runs, and errors. But silver, for whatever reason, always goes on perfect. So I may just paint the Mozilla 400 silver and then have some white dots with the number 88. The guy also ran a Porsche dealership, or was sponsored by a Porsche dealership, and the guy's name sounds Polish. So the idea of a Polish Porsche dealer running car number 88 just sort of tickles my off-center sense of humor. So I may just do the Mozilla 400 up in silver as a German racer. Speaking of which, you guys want to see something cool? Check this out, huh? What do you think? Custom made outdrive, custom made everything in here, and I have to put another drop of epoxy on here because I knocked the receiver shelf loose when I was assembling stuff. Bad. So what do you think, huh? Nothing over the top, just red Ferrari, and just simple. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.